All right, we are gonna dabble a little bit in statistics. We're gonna be talking about box and whisker plots, which look like that. And we're gonna be talking about doing standard deviation in Desmos as best we can on a video. So a box plot or box and whisker plot, it can be called both, is a type of graph that divides the data into 4 equal parts, 25% each. So that means this whisker is 25% of the data. This is 25% of the data. That's 25%. So we can see how spread out some numbers are and how close together some numbers are. A box plot talks about the 5-number summary, which is these things. So minimum is lowest, maximum is the highest. The median is the middle. So think like the median on the globe. And then quartile 1 and quartile 3. We're just saying this is the third quarter, second quarter, first quarter, okay? So you're gonna be given a graph and you're gonna have to find all of those things, or one of them at a time, on your homework. So if it asks for the minimum, first I gotta look at my scale. It looks like I'm going up by 2s, 32, 34, 36, 38. So my minimum's 38. My median is 54. My maximum is 68. First quartile is 50. Third quartile is 64. Range and interquartile range, that's IQR. Interquartile range is, you gotta do a little bit of math for it. Range is highest minus lowest. Interquartile range is quartile 3 minus quartile 1. So highest minus lowest is 68 minus 38, which is going to be 30. And interquartile range is going to be 64 minus 50, which is 14. So you can be asked any of those things about your box and whisker plots you're given. What percent of the data is less than or equal to 54? This is the last kind of question you can be asked. Less than or equal to 54. So I look here and I'm like, 54 was my median, which means it's the middle. So splitting it at the median means half of it's here and half of it's here. In percents, that's 50%. Let's try it again. It looks like I'm going up by 10s this time. Nope. Yeah? 20, 30, 40. Yeah. So my minimum's 40. My median is 80. Maximum's 160. First quartile is 60. 110. Range is highest minus lowest. So 160 minus 40 is 120. Interquartile range is third quartile minus first, which is 110 minus 60, which is 50. That is taking information from a box plot, and then the next thing is we got to make a box plot. So here's my steps. Here's how I do it. First, we have to order the data. To find the median, you have to order the data. So I always go least to greatest. We'll take 30 seconds and do that. Okay. And then I find my median. So median is the middle number, and I like to tick them off, like show that where I've gone so that I don't forget. So my median is between 30 and 34. The number directly in the middle of 30 and 34 is 32. So that is going to be my median. Let's start there. That's going to be my middle of my box. So my data is split directly down the middle now. Now I need to find the quartiles. The quartiles are the medians of each half of the data. So now I'm going to find the median of this half on its own and the median of that half on its own. So I look and I'm like, there we go. middle is 29. That's going to be quartile 1. Middle is 35. That's going to be quartile 3. So I come to my box and I drag my box or draw my box at 29 and 35. So now my minimums and maximums. My minimum's 25. So there goes my whisker. And my maximum is 38. So this one actually looks pretty even. That's kind of cool. Let's flip our page. Oh, let's practice it out. This is what it looks like on Delta Math. You have to write out your min, max, and everything, and then you will drag the pieces of the box plot around. But we're on paper, so we're gonna draw it now. Notice it's already ordered for you. That's really nice. So my minimum is gonna be 5, max is 19, and then let's find our middles. Lots of numbers this time. My middle is 13. So because I used 13, like that is actually my median. I cannot use it again. That is what splits my data in half. So that 13 is now out. I'm not using it anymore. If I want to find quartile 1, I ignore the 13. And so now 6 and 8 are both my middle ones. So in the middle of 6 and 8, it's 7. In the middle of 15 and 17 is 16. That's how I like to do it. I like to write it all out and then draw it, but you can split it up however you please. And then quartile 1 is 7, median's 13, 16, and 19. So here's my box, and there's my whiskers. Let's try it again, and then we'll look at standard deviation. Minimum 7, 18. Okay, 11 and 12 are my middle. So in the middle of 11 and 12 is 11.5. I put it on the bottom because that was going to be too big for my little box there. I used 11 and 12 to find 11.5, but that's like splitting those two down the middle. So I can use 11 and 12 again. So in the middle of 9 and 9 is just 9. In the middle of 14 and 15, it's 14 and a half again. So I draw it, 7, 9, 11.5 will go like in the middle there. 14.5, middle, 18. There's my box, and here's my whiskers. There we go. Okay, standard deviation. If you Googled the formula for standard deviation, it is so gross and ugly, and it's awful. So I want you to go to Desmos.com and get onto the graphing calculator so that you have this like open, you have the equations boxes and you've got the graph. So I'm just gonna make up numbers right here on the spot. First of all, you need to open a table. So hit the plus sign and hit table, and then it's gonna pop up something like this. And you're gonna put it in the X1 box. It doesn't matter which one you actually put it in, but you're gonna have to label it at the end. So let's say I want 15, 12, 7, let's do 13.5, 18, and 2. So you're just typing these in and hitting enter, and it drops you down the box. Okay, make that list so that you get the same numbers I do. And then, like I said, doing standard deviation by hand is horrible. It takes forever, it sucks. So you're gonna be given Desmos on your Aspire test, and you're given Desmos now. Okay, there is a standard deviation function. So if you type in STDEV, STDEV, that's what I call it, STDEV. If you type that in, and then in the parentheses you put X1, it will give you out the standard deviation. So when you plug that in, you should get something like 5.811. I mean, it's a bunch of decimals, of course, but I believe on your homework I asked you to round to the tenths place. Anyway, you have a few of these on your homework to try, and you are not expected to do them by hand. You are expected to do this, okay? You go to the decimals calculator, you click the plus sign, you add a table so that you get this, and then you just copy your list of your numbers in here. Hit enter so that you're now in a new box, and you write Stadiv X1 and you get your answer. Okay, that is 9.4. That is the last bit of stuff that we need before we take the state test. So email me if you have any questions. Thank you and have a good day.